Brian, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and making the time for talking to people who have this question, really, like, what is the best way to make their decision? How can they make the decision right?
Yes.
And just wanted to have you like on a live, you talk to them and just let them know that they are in charge of their life and they
Yes.
can decide what they wanted to do. And
Yes.
it's enough to be clear and just go for it.
Yes. So I'm ready when you are.
I'm back to you.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very much looking forward to our time together because it can be the most important time of your life. Many years ago, 1981, I decided that I would become a speaker, and I began giving a seminar on personal effectiveness, personal development, personal success. And I gave the seminar over and over again. And one day, someone from IBM came into my seminar, and he was so impressed that he introduced me to IBM Canada, and they had me come down to their headquarters and give a seminar to demonstrate the quality of my material. And I did. And they were so impressed that they hired me to give seminars every month for 3 years. And one day they came to me and they said, we think that problem solving and decision making is a very important skill for all of our people to have. Would you like to give a seminar on problem solving and decision making? And I had been studying this subject for many years. And I said, yes, very much. So I spent 2 months and I designed a seminar, a one-day seminar. And then I gave the seminar all across Canada. I gave it to almost every single IBM employee in Canada, more than 2,000 people, maybe more than 3,000. So I studied the subject at great length. I spent maybe 500 hours studying problem solving and decision making. And I learned that there are some key ideas that I will share with you. Peter Drucker, I'm very fond of Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker said, whatever you have on your business card for your job description, your real job description is problem solver. It is what you do when you come to work, and all day long is you solve problems. And everything you do is merely a different way or a different method of solving problems. So I want to share with you some ideas that have been helpful to me. And they start off with the principle of clarity. Clarity is my favorite word in management. And clarity means, of course, clarity about what it is that you want to accomplish. What are your goals? And so I began to teach problem solving and decision making, but then I found that it did not work unless people had very clear goals that they were working toward. So I began to teach goal setting and problem solving and decision making. And clarity is the most important thing of all. It's for you to be absolutely clear about where you are today and where you want to go in the future. And so what I want to talk to you about is goals, just for a second, and then we'll come back. Now, I developed a system for setting goals that I have now taught to more than 1 million people, and including in Iran. I have spoken in Iran many times. I have spoken to thousands of business owners and executives in Iran. And I go until the virus, I go to Iran 2 or 3 times each year. Yeah. And I speak for a minimum of 2 days. And my audiences have 500 to 1,000 people, all business owners. And you may know I'm very popular in Iran.
I know. Who doesn't know that? And just letting you know, we are on Zoom because the Zoom platform is not very easy to use in Iran. So we kind of multi-stream the Zoom through the Instagram. Now I guess we have over 1,000 people from Iran. They are, I don't know, but that's the number. That's about correct. So I think there's about how many? 739 people right now seeing you, Brian. I'm listening to you.
Wonderful. So I developed a system for setting goals. And when I go back to Iran or when I go back to any country, people come up to me and they say the same words over and over. They say, "You changed my life. You made me rich. You changed my life. You made me rich." And what I found is that the Iranian people like to be rich. They want to be rich. They want to earn a lot of money. And by the way, coming to Canada and starting a business is one of the very best ways to become rich. I am sure that everyone who is watching me today has a friend who has come to Canada, started a business, and become rich. and so I ask, what was it that made you rich? And they say the same thing. They say it was the goals. It was the goals. I did not understand goals until I went to your seminar or read your book or listened to your audio programs. But once I understood goals, then I became rich. And of course, in goal setting, what stops you from achieving your goal is always a problem or an obstacle of some kind. So let me give you my 7-part goal setting system that will make you rich. And then I'll show you how simply to solve every problem on the way to achieving your goal. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So step number 1 is make a decision. Make a decision about exactly what you want to have or exactly what you want to do. And we come back again to our friend, clarity. Just be absolutely clear about what you want. Einstein said that your goal must be so clear that you could teach it to a 6-year-old child, and the 6-year-old child could understand it and teach it to another 6-year-old child. So your goal must be simple, but absolutely clear. My favorite goal is to double your income. And we talked about that yesterday. Everyone wants to earn more money, but what you do is you double your income. And so the question is, how much is that? And I say, how much did you pay on your taxes last year? What did you write down? What was the number that you paid taxes? Because nobody...
You are paying the taxes.
Yeah, nobody lies about their taxes. You have to be very clear and honest when you pay your taxes. So how much did you pay? Then you set a goal to earn double. And that is your number. It's like a target. The target that you aim at is that, and you write it down. And there's an interesting factor in goal setting with regard to clarity. And that is that everything that you write down on a piece of paper comes true. Everything that you write down actually starts to come into reality. And so therefore you think of the number and you always write your goal down in the present tense. You say, I earn this amount of money by this date. So let's say you want to double your income in the next 12 months. So I earn this amount of money by December 31, 2021. And that's how you write down your goals. You are the only one who can use the word I, myself, with regard to yourself. And when you write a goal, I earn, I achieve, I accomplish. When you write I plus an action word, then that is an instruction or a command to your subconscious and your superconscious mind. And once you create this command, it goes into your superconscious mind, and this superconscious mind works to help you to achieve your goal 24 hours a day. Number 2 is write it down. And I was doing a seminar just yesterday, and they told me that the most important thing they learned from my previous seminars is the importance of writing it down, the importance of putting it on paper. And so therefore, write it down on paper. One of the things that I teach, and I have a coaching program. Where is it here? I have, yes, here it is. Some years ago, I designed a coaching program for business owners. And I would teach about 30 business owners every 3 months. They would come to San Diego, which is a nice place to come, and they would spend the entire day with me. It was usually a Friday, so that they could stay for Saturday and Sunday. So they would spend the entire day with me at round tables with 5 other people. 5 seems to be the best number. And then we would go through different exercises. And the only way I could get people to come to my seminar was to give a guarantee. And so my guarantee was that you will double your income and double your time off within 1 year.
Wow.
Double your income, double your time off. That was the name of my seminar. And if you did not, then I would give you your money back. And at that time, I charged $5,000 to come to my seminar for 4 days.
Wow.
Well, the good news is I never had to give a refund. I never had to give anybody their money back because everybody doubled their income and everybody doubled their time off. And sometimes instead of 1 year, they did it in 1 week. Some people did it in 1 day. Is the first day of the seminar, they would go through a series of exercises with me. And the starting exercise was a spiral notebook. And I would hand this out to everybody and I would say, this is going to be your new best friend. What you're going to do is every morning, you're going to write down 10 goals. And then you're going to turn it over the next day. You will turn the page the next day. And without reading the previous page, you write down 10 goals again. And every day you turn the page and write down your 10 goals. And your goals will change. Your goals will change in order of priority, in order of description, but you just write down 10 goals every day. If you do this, by the way, you'll change your life starting today. Write down 10 goals and do this every morning. The first thing when you get up and get ready to go, sit down, like here in my office, write down your 10 goals. And people say it's like a miracle. But what you are doing is you're programming the goal into your subconscious mind when you write it down. And then your subconscious works on your goal all day long, 24 hours a day. Even while you are sleeping, it's working like a computer to find ideas. The superconscious mind is the source of the law of attraction. So when you write down your goals, it forces you to be clear. And you write it down and you start to attract into your life people and circumstances to help you to achieve the goal. And so I say, do this every day for a month and see what happens. And then do it every day for the rest of your life. Every day, get up in the morning, brush your teeth, write your goals. Get up in the morning, drink your coffee, write your goals every single day. This is the great...
Sorry, Brian, to interrupt you. Are you talking about the daily goals or the long-term goals? What goals are you writing down every day?
Well, what I do is I have everybody write down 10 goals as an exercise at the very beginning of the program. I do this in my large seminars as well. I'll say, just write down 10 goals and then do this every day. And then I teach the entire system of goal setting. But the most important thing is write down 10 goals. Then you'll find that your goals will change. You'll write different goals. You'll write bigger goals. Some goals that seem to be important will fall away. Other goals will move up. But the most amazing thing is you start to achieve goals faster than you ever thought possible. So this is what you do. You write down 10 goals, and then I would have people select one goal of your 10. And that becomes your major definite purpose. It becomes your number one goal, the most important goal in your life. It becomes the one goal that if you can achieve this, it'll help you to achieve all the other goals even faster. So that's step number one, is decide what you want. Step number 2 is to write it down. And step number 3 is to set a deadline. Those are the big 3. I call these the golden triangle of success. And if you will do that and just nothing else but that, you will change your entire life. But there's more. Step number 4 is to make a list of everything that you could think of that you could do to achieve your goal. And if you think of new things, write them down on your list. Keep writing it down, and you'll usually come up with 20 or 30 or 40 different things that you could do to achieve your goal. Step number 5 is you organize the list, almost like you're building a life. You organize the list in terms of priority. What is more important? What is less important? And organize the list. And then step number 6 is take action on your list, is do something immediately to achieve your goal. And step number 7 is to do something every day. And if you'll do this, decide what you want, write it down, set a deadline, make a list of everything that you could do, organize your list into a plan, and then take action. And number 7 is do something every day, 7 days a week on your major goal. And if we stopped right now and all you did was this, you will all double your income in the next 12 months. And people say that can't be true. I said, well, what does it cost for you to try this idea? What does it cost? And the answer is it does not cost anything. So just do it. And you know what we find is that only 3% of adults have clear written goals. Only 3%. And these people earn 10 times as much as the average person. Where does this number come from? Well, Harvard University did a study a few years ago, and it was a goal study. And what they did is they interviewed the graduating class of seniors from the business school, people who had gotten an MBA at Harvard. And they asked them, how many of you have written goals with plans to achieve them after you leave the university? And they found that 3% had written goals and plans.
Even in Harvard University.
Pardon?
Even in Harvard University.
In Harvard University, 3% had written goals and plans to achieve them when they left the university. Another 17% had goals, but they had not written them down. They had them in their mind. And the 80% had no goals at all, except to get out of university and go on vacation. So they went back 10 years later and they interviewed these people and they asked them, among many other questions, how much are you earning today? And they found that the average income of the bottom 80% was maybe $120,000, Harvard graduates. The average income of the 17% that had goals that weren't written was double the average income of the 80%, but the average income of the 3% that had written goals and plans was 10 times and 20 times higher than the other people in the class. And the only difference was that they had written goals when they left the university. So does this work? Yes. You see my office. I live in a big house, and I live looking down over a golf course. And I have an office and a staff with 34 people. And I own property and hotels and other sources of income. And I am very successful. And of course, you have to work hard. That's very, very important. But the thing is, you have to work hard, focused on your goal. So that's what you do. Decide what you want, write it down, set a deadline. Make a list of everything you need to do. Organize the list by priority. So you start with number 1, the most important thing, and then you do something every day to achieve your goal. And my promise to you, our promise to you, is that you will double and triple your income. And it is quite amazing. I have taught this idea to millions of people, both personally in my seminars in Iran and in 83 other countries. And my books, I've written now 90 books. My books have sold millions of copies, and people write to me by email all the time. You changed my life. You made me rich.
That's so true. And Brian, you know that it was so amazing the way you break it down, because the way it works is like so many times people know what they want in their heart, but they're not clear. So that's why when you're not clear, you cannot really focus on one thing and then eventually accomplish that goal. So you are always around doing things that is not necessary, like it's not really pushing you towards what you want. And that's the main thing, especially like the way it works, because our main practice is immigration law and business development. So we get so many people, they wanted to do things. I mean, in general, regarding the immigration and like about starting a business here, but they have so much fear, right? They're afraid of the uncertainty. What's going to happen if I get there? What's going to be the future look like? Like, I'm going to miss my family, and I don't know how I'm going to learn the language and how I'm going to speak the language of that people. And another concern that is always there, it's going to be expensive. How much it's going to cost? And I've been talking before I come here on a live Instagram and just telling them that the way it works is like you should decide that what you're going to do with your life and make that decision right, like clear. So if you can expand on that one and then have a message that you might care to share with my audience.
Right. Well, I taught for IBM. I taught thousands of people all over the country. And I studied the subject of problem solving because I concluded that your ability to solve problems and make decisions was the key to your success. So what we found is that here's you and here's your goal. Here's you and here's your goal. And between you and your goal, there's always one factor that determines the speed at which you achieve your goal. So you have to ask yourself, what holds me back from achieving my most important goal? And we talk, as we talked yesterday, about doubling your income. So you say, my goal is to double my income. Good. Then there's always what we call a limiting factor. It's a constraint that determines the speed at which you go from where you are to where you want to be. And so you have to ask yourself, if you're going to have a goal to come to Canada, ask yourself, what is the one factor that sets the speed at which you can come to Canada and double your income? And write it down. And then you ask, what the major problem, then you write down is what are all the things that you can do to eliminate this problem? And you'll find that the power of a pencil and paper is absolutely amazing. So you write it down. And then you set priorities. And you ask yourself, of all the limiting factors between you and your goal today, what is the one factor that holds you back more than anything else? And what is the one thing that you can do today to solve your biggest single problem? And everything comes back to clarity, clarity, clarity. Interestingly enough, once you are clear about your goal and clear about your biggest problem, the answer usually comes into reality by itself. Again, Peter Drucker said, if you do enough research on a problem, the answer will just rise, like cream rises in milk. It will just become obvious to everyone. I have done strategic planning for more than 1,000 companies in my career. Wow. With those 1,000 companies, I will sit them down and I will send them out an exercise to do before they come to the strategic planning meeting, which is usually 2 days, sometimes 3 days. And then what we do in large companies, I've done strategic planning for companies that have assets of more than $100 billion. Some of the biggest companies in the world. And so what we do is we start off and we say, what are our goals in this company? And then the next question we ask is, what holds us back from achieving our goals? We say, why aren't we at our goal right now? Why aren't we at our goal right now? And so it's like a road that between where you are and where you want to go. What is it on the road that sets the speed at which we achieve the goal? And then we write every problem down, write it down, write it down. And then we say, what is the biggest single limitation that holds us back? And we debate, and finally we figure out this is the biggest goal, the biggest problem that holds us back. And then we say, what are all the solutions to this problem? What can we do to solve this problem? And we go around with all of the top executives and we write down all of the answers. And then we agree what all these answers, what is the one answer that will help us to achieve or to solve our biggest problem, to achieve our most important goal? And the word is always clarity. The second word, by the way, that you mentioned is focus, is you have to have absolute focus, but you can't have focus without clarity. So write it down, discuss it. There is another story about Einstein, and he was asked, if you had a problem to solve, and the problem was a great danger that was going to destroy the human race on Earth. It was the massive problem that was going to destroy the world. And you had 1 hour to solve this problem. How would you allocate or use your time? And he thought about it for a while, and he said, I would spend the first 55 minutes studying the problem and understanding the problem exactly, and the last 5 minutes solving the problem.
Wow.
And so we come back to our friend clarity. Every day when you go to work, you are a problem solver. And so therefore, never complain about problems. We find, and Henry Kissinger, the head of the defense in the United States, Henry Kissinger said that the only thing that you get when you solve problems is bigger problems to solve. And this is very interesting, is you demonstrate your ability to succeed by solving the problems on the way to your goals. And the better you become at problem solving, the more you are promoted to a higher job, a bigger job, and you earn more money. And then you solve the problems there and you're promoted. And then you earn more money. And then you solve those problems. And each time you solve the problems in front of you, you are promoted to bigger problems. And that is the number one reason why people become wealthy, is that they determine the most important problem that in their path that is determining how fast they can move, and they solve that problem, and then they get bigger problems to solve, and bigger problems, and more money, and more success, and so on. Every person who is a big success today started off as an individual, one person with one goal and one problem. And then what they did is they say, do what you can with what you have right where you are. Don't worry about the future. Just do what you can, set a goal, identify what sets the speed, and focus on that single problem. And then the answer will come to you. The most amazing thing is that when you start to focus on a problem, the answer will appear. And then what you do is take action on that problem. And we say, take the first step. When you take the first step, you will see far enough to take the second step. And when you take the second step, you will see far enough to take the next step. And so what you do is you create a great life one step at a time. And here's what I've found is that you can always see the first step. You can always see the first step. The one thing that you do now. So what is it that you do now to achieve your biggest goal? If your goal is to move to Canada and start a business and earn a lot of money and be successful, what is the first step? The first step is always clear, and you take the first step. And all of success in life comes from taking the first step.
Wow, amazing. That was very informative. Like, yeah.
Now, the last thing that I want to leave you with is the third big word. The first word is clarity. The second word is focus. And you mentioned that earlier. And the third word is concentration. And every single success is preceded by a long period of concentration, single-minded concentration on one thing, on one goal, on one problem, until the goal is achieved or the goal is solved. And your ability to concentrate, to do nothing but work on that single problem that takes you to your single goal, that will make all the difference in your life. The reason that people do not succeed is because they try to do many different things and they never concentrate on one thing. But all success requires that you concentrate on one goal, on solving one problem. And if you do that, you start to become very good at solving problems. You become very good at making decisions. For instance, one of the things that you learn that I've taught in business, and I've spoken to more than 5,000 audiences in the course of my career. One of the things that you do is you find that really successful people ask a lot of questions. They ask a lot of questions like Einstein because they want to succeed. So if people come to them and they say, we have a problem. And they say, all right, what exactly is the problem? What exactly is the problem? And what exactly are all the possible solutions to solving this problem? Because a goal that you have not achieved is merely a problem that you have not solved. So if your goal is to double your income, then the problem is to find the way to double your income and focus on that one way and concentrate single-mindedly until you achieve that one goal, solve that one problem.
Perfect. No one could like break it down the way you did. It was amazing. So the message I think you're gonna leave us with is be clear, find your goal through writing it down, and make sure you get the one goal that you wanted to achieve, and then focus on that goal and concentrate until you get that.
Yes.
Even it's a problem, you're going to solve it, or it's something you're going to achieve. That's going to be the message of the day.
And then concentrate, as you say, single-mindedly on one thing. Is each person has incredible potential, but you cannot use your potential until it's focused on a single goal, a single activity. Until then, you simply go around like a child running around in a class. But it's when you focus and decide upon a single thing that you unlock your potential for great success.
Wow, amazing. Focus on one thing. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and making your time, making yourself available for us. And I think it was a great honor having you here. And I think all the audiences here, they appreciate your time and all the messages you shared.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure. And I wish everybody tremendous success. Remember, decide what you want, write it down, make a plan, and then work on it every day.
Thank you so much. And looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, Brian.